Authority that patrolled the area to protect native tribes from violent groups of raiders that frequently attack tribes so their land can be taken for development. Many sectors and geographical areas within the United States are already experiencing a recession. That word comes in a report from Activist Post, which says that faced with the choice of raising prices or cutting employees' hours to pay for tariffs, many are officially backed into a corner. While the mainstream media and the political establishment continue to claim that China is paying for the tariffs, those actually stuck paying for them are calling it what it is: propaganda. It's just politics as usual, and it's just an outright lie, says Greg Petrus, president of Kuhn North America, which employs some 600 people at its farm equipment factory in Wisconsin. For Kuhn, Trump's trade war has produced a toxic mix of rising costs and falling revenues. According to Bloomberg, hours are being cut, and the workforce is being furloughed to make ends meet. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A new teen trend of walking wet and nude couldn't have caught on at a worse time, and a taxpayer is outraged. And lo, the Lord said unto the Israelites, Look unto the heavens, and you shall see a news review program to rival the greatest wonders of the earth. This is the Onion Week in Review. As a front of dense, frigid air and snow showers brought sub-zero temperatures to much of the country this week, Canton, Ohio residents noted that the blanketing of snow they had received created the illusion that their town was not a total shithole. Residents added that unlike its typical depressing reality, the snow-cloaked town actually looked halfway livable.
Canton is usually a miserable little dump, but you know when that first snow fell and covered everything in a layer of white powder? For about 5 minutes it was like not everything I saw depressed the living out of me.
Reports from locals also confirmed that for a brief period the streets, parks, and buildings around them gave the surprising impression of not being a run-down, heartbreaking excuse for a hometown.
This is the Onion News Network.
That's right, it is Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live here on the airwaves. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
Well, guys, it's 9/11.
Yep, it is.
Yep. 9/11 is 18 years old, legal in all 50 states.
And 18 years ago, 3 buildings fell down, not just 2.
Well, the Pentagon didn't fall, but it got hit, right?
No, building number 7.
Yeah.
3 in New York City came down.
That's right.
1 that did not get struck by a plane.
Oddly far out, too. I think it's a very... The building number 7 is the most interesting part of the whole 9/11 story.
You know what else is really interesting? Is they found puddles of molten lava for weeks while cleaning up where the actual Twin Towers fell.
It's not that I believe or disbelieve those stories. It's just that I have no way of corroborating it. But we certainly can see where Building 7 was in relationships to Buildings 1 and 2.
Yep. Oh, right? Yeah.
How far was it?
Not particularly close. It wasn't like just sitting next door the way that 1 and 2 were right close together.
Yeah.
Building 7 was a ways out from there.
Okay.
And
there was a lot of interesting stuff allegedly in Building 7 that was conveniently disappeared, kind of like Epstein conveniently committed suicide. Like the Enron. Anybody know somebody that lost money because of Enron? Yeah, no. All the people.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, a lot for folks from California where their retirement was wrapped up in Enron, and they became basically broke because a bunch of very powerful people in Enron looted the company and they looted the retirement fund and they stole from it. And all the evidence to prosecute that case was allegedly in Building number 7.
Well, I believe fewer people believe that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide unassisted than believe, frankly, any other conspiracy in the history of the world.
Well, the whole Epstein thing gives so much credibility to every tinfoil hat wearing screwball that was talking about 9/11.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Alex Jones, for example. He's been screaming about Epstein for over a decade. They played like a 2005 clip of InfoWars, one of these talk shows I was listening to, Jimmy Dore show or something, about and it's like, it ain't like nobody, wasn't talking about it. Alex Jones was, and Luke Rudkowski was, and, Ernie Hancock's had guys on his show talking about the whole pedophile thing with Epstein and Pedo Island. I was on a cruise last November. I went on a cruise, Norwegian Cruise Line, and we went around.
For your honeymoon.
For my honeymoon, and we went snorkeling off of St. Thomas. It was one of the cruise adventures.
Yep.
And as we were leaving St. Thomas, the guy it was a twin 500 horse Yanmars, 150 people on this thing going out to a reef somewhere to, put our sweat and sunscreen all on the reef and pee. and which that snorkel thing is beautiful down there. But anyways, so we go past Big James or St. James Island or something.
St. James Island, yeah.
And he's like, oh, the Golden Dome got knocked off by the hurricane. They're talking about, you could see the chapel, and you see this place. There's a private island for a wealthy millionaire. I go, oh, is that Pedophile Island? And the guy goes, yes, it is. And I'm not going to repeat what you said, but none of the locals like him.
Yeah.
He said, and then like that whole boat's like, oh, what do you mean Pedophile Island? So, and people around me, I'm like, yeah, Jeffrey Epstein. I go, Alex Jones been talking about it for years. And
no, I know that you said he's a pedophile, but what did he do? Like, what is he accused
Epstein?
of? Yeah.
Yeah. So best I can tell, the story is that Epstein got wealthy somehow.
Okay.
And, they say he was a hedge fund manager or whatever, but
the hedge fund did nothing.
I haven't seen a lot of evidence of that, but that's where the money came from.
Maybe it was in Building 7.
Right. And he had this proclivity for young ladies.
Okay.
And so he had this sort of small team of women, believe it or not, that would recruit young ladies from like mall jobs and things like that to come give him massages. That's in air quotes.
Okay.
Dance studios in New York City, it was reported a couple weeks ago, in part of this Epstein paperwork that a bunch of lawyers are going through, a bunch of people are going through, a bunch of conspiracy theorists are going through. But dance studios in New York City, where you send your 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kid as after school, that's like a big thing. A lot of suburban
that's
kids
done.
That young.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, okay, so that's not...
I don't know about him taking them, but that's where they start.
Okay.
When you start sending them to dance when they're like 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
It happens a lot.
That much is true. Epstein is accused, I think at the youngest is 14. So, that would be 2 years younger than the age of consent in the state of Florida. And they would be given money to give massages. And when he got in there, like, hey, how about you touch this part? How about you touch that part? There'll be more money in it for you, this kind of thing. So,
but at 14, I mean, I know that it's not the age of consent, but at 14 years old, I knew what I was doing. Like, if I did something or I touched something, like, I was aware of the consequence or the action that I did. So I can get it. If they're 14, they know.
Yeah, I think that the biggest problem that people have with it, and it's not, I'm not saying one way or the other. I agree with you that 14-year-old women and 14-year-old men know what's going on. That's what we call the age of biological maturity. They're biological adults at that point. I think it's the age difference that bothers people, that
How old
a
was
much
Epstein?
older guy. I think he's in his 60s now. So let's
goodness.
call it his 40s at the time, maybe
Okay.
30s at the time. So, whatever the situation is. Also, part of this is that he had his own private jet. He's a billionaire or whatever. And the private jet allowed him to entertain influential people, including Bill Clinton,
Bill Gates,
governors, captains of industry, God knows who, and they'd go on, they'd get some drinks, and then out trot the girls, and maybe they made some bad decisions.
Okay.
Now this is where, for me, it all sort of the whole story begins to unravel, because if Jeffrey Epstein wasn't an agent of a foreign government, foreign governments have dropped the ball on spycraft, right? If let's see, Epstein, where could he be from? Maybe he's an agent of the Mossad from Israel, right?
Okay.
I'm just taking a wild stab of the dark.
Basically, his partner's father, Maxwell there, Ghislaine Maxwell, her father was a Mossad agent.
And that's not in dispute?
No, that's like proven fact. Yeah.
So let's say he's working for the Mossad. This makes a lot more sense to me. Is that, some foreign country would want to put their thumb on politicians and captains of industry in the United States so that they can just get the right decisions at the right time or whatever. And a great way to do that would be to put them on a private jet. People will do whatever to get on a private jet. It's fun. People are excited about it. If I'm like, hey, guys, you want to drive 2 hours across the state to take off in my private jet for a flight down to Bimini and back?
Yes, we'll do it.
Like, you'll totally drive across the state, whereas otherwise you would not drive across the state. So, a private jet is an influential thing. Then alcohol lowers the inhibition. Then the girls come out, and, maybe some of them ask what the ages are. Maybe some of them don't. And then...
There's a whole nother element, too. Inside this drink, whether it's alcoholic or not, I mean, there are certain drugs that people can be dosed with, and essentially they're very easy to persuade, or, the people like literally lack their, sensibilities, kind of like an enhanced.
One of those drugs is alcohol.
Sure.
I mean, like,
but there's much more powerful, like, agents that the CIA likes to use that, we know very little about because it's all speculative.
Once you're on the plane with the people that have diddled the 14-year-olds, it doesn't matter whether you did or not.
That's true.
You have drank, you've had 3 Mai Tais on a private plane where 4 14-year-olds were,
dancing around.
And there were private rooms on the plane too. This was not a small private plane; it was a big private plane, and so if you were there, you did it. It doesn't make a difference. Like, Bill Clinton is accused of being on this plane. We don't know what he did on the plane, but we know that he took many rides on the plane. A couple of dozen, I believe, is the accusation. More than a couple of dozen. So,
have you seen the video where this guy flies a drone over his island, and there's like all this, like, you almost think you'd be watching like an Alex Jones video about a cult, warship and these buildings and like rocks aligned, and so he's like a mini Stonehenge thing there.
He does have some sort of temple thing.
Yep.
At the Epstein Island?
The Epstein Island, the St. James. He actually says 2 islands.
Right.
The big St. James.
Well, he doesn't anymore. He's dead.
Right. Well, yeah. Now
they're gone.
You think?
Maybe.
maybe Israel just got their agent out. If he's got $500 million, what's to say he's dead? Happy 9/11 or sad 9/11 or in remembrance of 9/11, whatever. Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. Mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Warning, this is a privacy alert. You are being spied on right now as I speak by your phone. If you want this to stop, visit godarkbags.com and we'll show you how elite military units protect themselves and how you can too. Godark bags are lab tested and guaranteed for life. Visit godarkbags.com now and enter discount code FTL to save 15%. That's godarkbags.com. Discount code FTL. Your privacy depends on it. End transmission.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
The American Psychiatric Association has issued an alarming study warning that the nation's used car salesmen are going completely insane, and in some extreme cases, practically giving cars away. The APA traces the outbreak of widespread hysteria to an apparent overstock of high-quality late-model cars begging to be driven off the lot today. Some severe symptoms include delusions, manic exuberance, and a psychotic commitment to offer the lowest prices guaranteed. Victims' families are joining together to raise awareness of this serious psychological epidemic.
The authorities found out how unbelievably low his prices were. They'd lock him up and throw away the key.
You are not alone. Over half of America's used car salesmen are currently going bonkers.
Car dealers suffering from this condition are prone to project their own disorders onto others. According to Mad Max, the Car Czar's website, you're out of your mind if you're not taking advantage of these low prices.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Live video of our key New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
We spent the last segment just sort of, talking about 9/11. It's the anniversary. And B, talking about Jeffrey Epstein. It seemed like one thing led into another there, the conspiracy theories. I'm going to go ahead and say with Jeffrey Epstein that I've just moved on into the conspiracy theorist camp. I cannot believe the stories about him, committing suicide when two cameras were malfunctioning, days after, just hours after getting off of, suicide watch in the New York federal jail thing. I just can't believe that story.
How did they say that he killed himself?
Hung himself, but in jail, that can mean two things.
Okay.
This is one thing that people don't really sort of get is that people think of hanging themselves. You imagine hanging like a piece of fruit.
Right.
Strange fruit, right? Hanging from a tree and by rope, right? That you would have to find something that would support your weight in a prison cell. You would have to find some kind of cord that would support your weight, and then
prison cells are not convenient for hanging yourself.
And then have a distance that one could drop in order to at least choke to death, if not strangle yourself to death.
Okay.
So, often bunk beds are right there, and then like a person who's actually strangling themselves to death is going to put their leg out and then push themselves up, and they just, But another way that they do it in jail is they'll take a cord and they'll tie it around their neck and they'll tie it to the top of the bunk, and then they'll lay flat on the bunk and they'll pull themselves down to where the cord's tightening, and then it just cuts off the blood flow to the brain. They're not choking to death. Their brain's asphyxiating because it's not getting oxygen.
Okay.
And that is a much more pleasant way to go, as I understand. Having never committed suicide, I can't really say one way or the other, and I'm certainly not advocating for it.
So is that the way they're saying that he did it?
No, I haven't been able to find anything about the way he did it because everything is sort of clouded in conspiracy. I have seen pictures of supposedly what is Epstein being taken out of the county jail, and those pictures are clearly not Epstein.
Okay, so you can see his face, you can see his head.
You can see like the shape of his nose and his ear, and then that you can see pictures of Epstein's nose and ear, and it's not the same guy. So for me, what I come down to is either way. Either he's an agent of a foreign country like Israel is my guess, and it's just a guess. And that makes a lot of sense to me, considering all the things that he did with the plane and the underage gals and, all this stuff, trying to entrap all these other, I'm sorry, but the reality is when you take there's a large percentage of males out there that when you give them a certain amount of alcohol and you bring in strange young ladies, they're just going to go ahead and acquiesce to the menstruations of these young ladies.
Yes.
And they may or may not ask the age. They may or may not care the age. And they may or may not be fine with it after a certain amount of alcohol, right?
Right.
So, I'm in that camp, right? Like, this is a foreign agent. However, even if it's not, he had $500 million. Let's presume he spent $50 million to escape jail.
Could you pull it off? $50 million escape?
And the
jail?
answer to that is indubitably, right? Like, how many jail guards do you have to pay off to get this done?
Yeah.
And not very many.
And probably not a lot.
Right. And all you have to do is, so there's a plane on the runway in, at the nearest private airport, right?
Yep.
All you have to do is have one well-paid off jail guard who networks with quite a few other jail guards there. Everybody turns their head to the point that we can take the billionaire off of the 7th floor. I don't know what floor he was on. I'm just picking a floor, okay? It happens to be the floor that I just picked. So down, down the elevator, out into some kind of car, marked, unmarked, the jail car. I don't know. I don't care. Off he goes. We're transporting this prisoner now. Maybe they've got him in cuffs, right? They put him into a jail van. I'm transporting this prisoner, and then 2 guards go, and off they go to the airport, right into the airplane. Shoom. This isn't.
You have thought a lot about this.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because if he's got $500 million and that's what they claim he has, that is not a $50 million op.
Right.
It's not.
No.
That's a $5 million
Worst case,
op.
you still have $450 million.
And it gets so much better. So, for example, the guy who's doing the autopsy on Epstein is the same guy who did the autopsy on JFK.
How old is this guy?
The same guy did the autopsy. Oh, he's like 80s.
Old.
He's old. He's like a celebrity
autopsy guy.
Yeah.
The only one I knew was Quincy, but
Wonder how much he's getting paid.
I don't know.
But his lawyers say that the autopsy reports that the injuries, the broken bones in his neck, were inconsistent with suicide. So the lawyers are, of course, they're happy to, spin that he's dead because they probably don't even know. Why would you want them to know? You'd want them convinced that you are dead.
Yes.
Because they're going to go shill it to the world, whatever they believe. And, but yeah, so I think it's funny that the lawyer's like, oh yeah, but, and they brought this up in federal court because they closed his case because allegedly there's no more Jeffrey Epstein. So they dismissed the charges against him, essentially. But the lawyers were like, hey, put it in a court record, on record, that the injuries are inconsistent with suicide. This is on the docket. So this, they're just helping prop up that he's dead. I don't believe he's dead for a minute.
Yeah. So maybe we have to produce a body. Maybe, right? Maybe the county jail has a body. I don't have an answer for that. Or maybe they just decided, here's a particular inmate that we particularly don't like. Maybe he did some terrible crimes or something like that. And the guards take care of him. Still, not a $50 million heist.
No, not at all.
Also, this happens to be in the state where Hillary Clinton is a former senator.
She got a lot of power there.
And her husband is one of the people that is accused in all of this.
New York.
And just too much of this. It's just too much for me. I'm not conspiratorial on much. I don't take 9/11 one way or the other. I propose that it doesn't actually matter for the ideas of liberty. I'm curious about Building 7. I've got some, mild questions, but I'm not gonna come down hard one way or the other. It's not my concern. But on this one, I'm sorry, nobody believes this. You've got to be like a lockstep statist to believe the story that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide in county jail.
Even back to Tulsi Gabbard with the whole media, they're trying to they're putting hit pieces on her left and right. They are not talking about her when she's getting, second place. Just like they're doing the same thing to Tulsi they did to Ron Paul. That's like what really got my attention about this.
Does this have to do with Epstein or have to do with conspiracies?
Well, the media just spinning everything. The media spinning Epstein.
The prostitutes, as they're referred to.
They all are just in lockstep with, the powers to be that are running government. They're literally like probably on orders from the CIA or Clinton or something. I don't know, but
I think for me with Tulsi Gabbard, it's not that I support her domestic policy by any stretch. I'm probably more in line with her foreign policy thoughts than any other candidate that's currently running for president or in office. But the thing that's most interesting to me about her is why is the media trying so hard? There's so many hit pieces out about this lady, and nobody else who's polling at the same level that she's polling at gets any kind of attention at all.
The media is pro-war.
Oh,
they
yeah.
love war.
Well, I think that they're just paid off by the military-industrial complex in some way.
They love war, too.
Well, it's certainly, if it bleeds, it leads, right? 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE is in Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. With experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in about anything here on Free Talk Live. We at this point, it's been Conspiracy Talk Live up for the first half hour. The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
Want to tell you about Balance of Nature. Balance of Nature is a supplement. And I've been taking it for a couple of weeks now. It's been working fine for me. I think probably the coolest thing about it is they've got these fruit and veggie capsules. So you can take 3 of their fruit capsules and 3 of their veggie capsules, and you get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables. And that's a lot of nutrition. It's not every day that you can get in the amount of fruits and vegetables that you need to get in, and Balance of Nature can help with that. Go online, become a preferred customer, which gives you the best pricing and free shipping. And after your 3rd month, Balance of Nature will ship to you at no extra charge an additional set of fruits and veggies. It's a limited time offer, so don't wait. Go to balanceofnature.com. Use discount code FTL. That allows you to get the benefits here. Balanceofnature.com. FTL is the discount code. And one of our contractors, I guess, Riley Blake, you've heard him on the show here if you've listened for a long time. He works for Balance of Nature, and so he knows what a good product it is, and he recommended this and got it all set up. So it's balanceofnature.com, coupon code FTL.
I'd like to throw something out there before I forget. I forgot last week, but tonight after the show, myself, Silver Dave, and Nobody are going to be doing Freer Talk Live on twitch.lrn.fm or dlive.lrn.fm is how you're going to catch that feed later on. So it's Freer Talk Live. It's uncensored. And we're going to be talking. Dave and I love talking about 9/11. So I know we're going to talk about that tonight.
Let's go to the phones. We've got Jade calling in from New Hampshire. Jay, you met Jade today.
Yes. Or yesterday I met Jade.
Okay. Let's go to Jade. Jade, you're on Free Talk Live.
What's up, guys? So, if we can, I heard you guys, I maybe caught the last bit of that about Tulsi Gabbard, but, I am, so I'm a full-time non-paid volunteer, pretty much all non-paid, but, just to throw that out there. But since it is 9/11, I thought it would be a good time to, come on air and talk about why, an anti-regime change war is such a good concept, especially for the 2020 election, because it's something that needs to be, implemented. We're going,
There was a little bit of drop out there, Jade. Anti-what, did you say?
Anti-regime change war.
Anti-regime change war.
Yeah,
Got it.
there we go. Anti-interventionism, things like that.
Yep.
You sound much better now. You were dropping out a little bit earlier.
Yep.
Great. Yeah. Okay,
so go ahead.
Mike. Yeah, so basically, when we're talking about 9/11, we've been in this war, on this war on terror, and not seen any actual solutions. We're spending $4 billion a month in taxpayer money every month in Afghanistan alone.
Still?
That's something that...
Wow.
Still. Right now.
Currently.
Currently. We are risking, needless lives, without any, actual solutions, short-term and long-term. And, Tulsi recognizes this. And so that's, one of the reasons why, it's such a good day to, get this information out there, because it's something that needs to be fixed. We're wasting American lives, we're hurting others, and for what?
Right. I mean, I think that the idea of going into Afghanistan was having the ability to go and hunt down Osama bin Laden. They didn't find Osama bin Laden.
Short term.
What's that?
and we actually did, we did that plan of action in a short term, or we technically did, but in the short term, we could have pulled, those troops out of there, but instead we put thousands more in. We put thousands more, resources and millions and trillions of dollars into that.
So you got a solution for us? Tulsi's a solution to this war, this war machine. Is she going to shut it down?
It's a mentality, right? It's a point of view.
Yes.
So if we have Tulsi Gabbard, as a presidential nominee for the 2020 election, that shows where we're at as a society, right? We recognize that we don't need regime change wars, that we don't need to put our resources, our taxpayer money, taxation is theft, right? So
that's right.
Yeah, I think that she's probably, as far as, all the candidates that are out there, she's the one that stands most diametrically opposed to what is currently going on. And if you're upset about, say, Donald Trump or whatever, Donald Trump's going to be able to make Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden, I don't know who else there is, might be lower than that, but he's going to make them look bad. Tulsi, he can't make her look bad in the same way. There's nothing he can. She's bulletproof to him.
Oh yeah, when you've spent 16 years as a combat veteran in Iraq and Kuwait, and you're going against someone who basically avoided the draft, right?
Right.
So it's it's not a competition when it comes to that. It's about getting her to that spot, getting her. She got over 20 polls saying that she should have qualified for the debate in September. But the DNC only counted 2 of those, right?
Yeah,
so it's getting her to that point.
That's another thing that's really odd about Tulsi is that for some reason there's all kinds of big media hit pieces out on this lady. Now, anybody else who's running at the level she's running at is getting no press at all. But for whatever reason, the prostitutes are out there writing big hit pieces against her. And that makes me just kind of curious. I'm that much more curious about her. Do you have any idea why?
So, you get a lot of news pieces, saying that she's an Assad apologist, or how she met with Trump, or how she was, grew up in a conservative kind of state with her family. So we get a lot of hit pieces on that. I don't understand why. I'm not one of these people in the media. I'm not. Obviously, I don't make. I'm not part of the 1%, so I couldn't tell you, right? But I would say, it's just, it's not a fair,
Would you speculate as to why you think they're after her? Because she's getting an undue amount of attention. Negative.
Because I heard someone say, because the media, it's a cycle of greed. It's a perpetual cycle. We make so much money off of war. The Pentagon is the largest industrial user of climate fossil fuels. So when that is that much ingrained into your government, and that much ingrained into the 1%, into these big media, corporations and companies, that's my speculation, really. It's just money. The money behind it.
Not to mention the advertisers and the big contributors to media. The way media makes their money is off of advertising dollars. So, like, for example, go to like NFL, the Department of Defense. In a 10-year, we did this on a show a while back. In 10 years, the Department of Defense spent something like $5.5 billion, some crazy amount of money on like sponsorships with broadcast during like football games and also for like flyovers. And then you have literally companies that own parts of like Clear Channel and all the big media and MSNBC, and their shareholders and stockholders all own a huge amount of military industrial complex companies like Stuart Stevenson, Archer Midland Daniels, which is actually, they're kind of everything. Halliburton, for example, they profit tremendously off servicing the war machine, and that all feeds back. But one thing I really notice about Tulsi is the fact that they're treating her like Ron Paul. And the Democrats are going to steal the primary from her the same way they stole it from Bernie. And the same way the Republicans stole it from Ron Paul.
Right. Well, I don't even know this. They're trying to make it so they don't have to steal it from her, so that she doesn't even get on the stage. And I think that that's despicable too. Jade, thank you for the call. Yeah. Please call in again sometime. I find Tulsi Gabbard to be one of the most interesting candidates for the Democrats. Free Talk Live 855-450-3733.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state, until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
If you owe money to the IRS, you need to hear this. The IRS is cracking down on those who owe back taxes. It starts with a devastating letter, and if you don't act immediately, you could find yourself having your wages garnished or have a lien placed on your property. But there's a solution. Tax 10,000 can help. Avoid enforced compliance, where these holds on your income and seizure of your home could become a nightmare that just won't end. Call 800-239-9957 now and speak to one of our experts. 800-239-9957 is the number to link you directly to a tax resolution specialist who will negotiate with the IRS on your behalf. Working through the IRS Fresh Start program, all the forms will be handled for you. All you have to do is make the toll-free call. 800-239-9957. Find out if you qualify and possibly save yourself thousands of dollars, not to mention a lot of headaches. It could be the best call you've made today. That number again, 800-239-9957. The service does not provide tax settlement or legal services. We will refer you to a company that does provide such services. Often the IRS will not agree to any reduction in the amount owed. Not all taxpayers who owe more than $10,000 will qualify for a tax reduction program.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever you want. We just had Jade call in, who apparently volunteers for the Tulsi Gabbard campaign. And
yeah, she actually, I was on the roof of my house yesterday, and about 2 weeks ago, a guy who is a state legislator here, Dennis Goddard, he listens to the show. He was like the first guy I had a Tulsi conversation with at Pork Fest a little bit because he was, sporting the Tulsi T-shirts. And he was talking about they do a sign wave in Concord and a sign wave in Manchester once a week in Portsmouth or something. So I said, hey, I want a sign. He's like, oh, you gave me his phone number, text me your address. So these girls show up, and she saw my, taxation is theft pin that's on my hat. Thought that was pretty cool. I gave her my business card. She told him, it was a libertarian that moved here. I told her I was a non-anarchist, which she thought was like perfect way to explain someone who doesn't want to be ruled. And we got to talking about, just freedom stuff. So they're into it.
Yeah, I think Tulsi is the most interesting of the Democratic candidates, and one thing I know for certain is there will be somebody elected in November of 2020 to be the president of the United States. And I may not like all the options like 100%. As a matter of fact, I don't like all of the options 100%, but I think I like Tulsi the best, as I've seen so far. Now, the Libertarians haven't put up their candidate yet, and I'm curious about that too.
I don't expect Tulsi to win, but I expect that all the Tulsi people, all the people who she's basically got the whole anti-war crowd, as far as I'm concerned, or most of it, the actual real anti-war people, they're gonna get to see what the Ron Paul supporters saw in 2008 and 2012. They're gonna see. It
ain't pretty, is it?
They're gonna see their candidate get ripped off by the DNC, and these people are going to be at basically prime for poaching by us libertarians, because they're going to understand how corrupt their government is, and they're going to realize it's not theirs and it doesn't serve them.
Speaking of libertarians, if you support libertarian radio and you want to see Free Talk Live on more radio stations across the United States, download it onto more podcast players, wherever, just more listeners generally, go to amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com, as Christian Saucier has done, who's a platinum amplifier. That means $25 a month. We ask for $5 a month at amp.freetalklive.com, but you can upgrade if you want. We're asking for $5 a month at amp.freetalklive.com. Thank you, Christian, though, for your generosity. Let's go to Jim, calling in from Iowa. Jim, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind, sir?
Yeah, I was listening on the radio, sort of funny. Something like 9/11 happens, and everybody all of a sudden, they're going to pray to God to help this country. I tell you what, how many, 3 million abortions each year? The leaders are all perverts, steal, they're crooks, they pay girls. They have a fund they set up to pay the girls so they won't tell them what they do.
The Senate did have something like that set up, yes.
And if anybody bothers to get married, they get married 4 or 5 times. They go home, watch their computers and their movies, their dirty movies. The filthy homosexuals, God says they're depraved, they degrade their bodies, and they're abomination.
I got a couple homosexual friends, and they're actually, the last thing I would call them is filthy. These guys are like really clean. Like their cars are really clean. They wear nice, clean clothes.
I'm talking about what they do. You know what I mean.
No, I don't, because they don't make my life dirty. They don't hurt my feelings.
I'm going to explain it to you.
He's talking about the depravity, though, and I think that there's some correlation, right? Like, it's true that during 9/11, a lot of people got all religious, and that much is true. I don't know what the homosexuals necessarily have to do with it, but go ahead, tie it together, Jim.
I am trying to. That's what I'm telling you. God, they're all praying to God to help this country. He's not going to help this country, and all that stuff's going on. Everybody does what they want. They don't listen to God.
Well, aren't all the countries praying to God for his help? I mean, it's kind of like the football teams when they're praying. Both sides are praying to win. I mean, does God flip a coin and decide which side he's going to help?
Or does he just give him free will?
He couldn't care less about that.
He probably doesn't care about which country wins either, right? Like which set of perverts and liars and thieves manage to claw their way out top. Remember, you're not your country. That flag is not you, and it has nothing to do with you. That flag is simply a veil behind which politicians do their depravity, as you've described.
Yeah, all the rest of it, too. The homosexuals married 50 times.
I've never had a homosexual wave a flag at me. The only flag they wave at me is the
rainbow flag.
The rainbow flag.
The Bible says, only the fool has said in his heart there is no God.
Okay. I have not said that, but I will say this. that I've read the Bible through 3 times, 2 times at least, and probably 8 times through the New Testament. And the best I can tell, and this is a pretty radical statement, Jim, but the best I can tell is the Bible, the God that's described in the Bible is very likely Satan. It's the Bible.
You're gonna that's the Bible says God is not mocked. You're going to answer.
I'm not mocking. No, I'm gonna back it up.
Yes, you are.
No, listen. Oh, you don't want to hear the rest of what I have to say.
You're going to pay for it. You know what? I would be surprised.
The God and the Bible aren't the same thing.
In the next few months.
What's going to happen to me? What's that?
I wouldn't be surprised if your radio program goes off in the next 2 months saying something bad about God.
But Jim, I've said this kind of stuff for years.
Yeah, well, maybe God's been kind to you.
Well, God has been kind to me, but God is, in my opinion, not the entity described in the Bible. The entity described in the Bible is bloodthirsty, vain, and despicable in many ways.
That's you're going to answer for that sometime. When you stand before God, you're going to answer for all that.
I hope to. I hope to stand before God.
Just like homosexuals are going to answer for all the dirty stuff they do.
Okay. Well, I'm not a homosexual, but I support people's right to do what they want to do so long as they don't harm other people.
And they will answer for it.
Okay.
Just like you're going to answer for calling God names like that. God is not mocked.
Well, I find here. I got one more.
You know that?
I've got one more name here, Jim.
You're really a rotten person.
I'm not a rotten person, Jim. I'm a very good person, and I live a great life.
The Bible says.
I know. The Bible says the Bible is the problem here, Jim. That's what I'm talking about. Hold on. I'm gonna pause you for just a second, Jim. Well, that's what I'm talking about here, Jim. Is the Bible is the problem here. The Bible is what I'm talking about. I don't dislike God. I think God's great. It's this book that's been handed down where a bunch of people talk about what God's like. I don't believe that thing. I've read it through plenty, and it's inconsistent and weird. And you say that I'm going to be judged by God. I hope that that's the case. And if that's so, if God is the sort of creature that would send me to burn in hell for all of eternity for reading his book all the way through and trying very, very hard to understand who he is and what he's about, that then would send me to burn in hell for all of eternity, I don't want to spend any time with him. Now go ahead, Jim.
Don't worry, you won't have to.
Okay. Well, then we agree. I'll be down there with the gay guys. You know what? Hell is going to be. It's going to be decorated fabulously. You know, like there's going to be.
If all the gay guys are going there, it's probably going to be a good time.
It's going to be color coordinated. Up in heaven, doilies, a whole bunch of like flower prints. You know, it's going to suck. Down in hell, I'm talking about bold colors. You know, everybody having a good time. Conga lines. No, I don't believe that for a second. I don't believe in hell. I don't believe God would send his beloved children, right? Beloved children to hell. If my son makes a mistake, I don't take him down to the basement where I keep my tools and get a pair of tin snips and cut off a piece of his finger. Because that would be insane to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be absolutely homicidal to do. Like, only the sickest and weirdest of people would do that. However, the God's punishment for me, and I get no warning, right? Like, the only warning I get is from, lunatics calling me on the radio, who've read the same book that I've read. There's no angel comes down and, Mark, you've got it all wrong. God is real and the Bible is true. Right?
That's a great voice, by the way.
Thank you. It's completely unedited. Nobody does that, right? So no warning. At the end of it all, I go before God and then off to hell. No. Fair and just being is going to do that. No loving father or mother, I don't care what gender you just assign to God. I don't think gender relates to God.
But it's a really good way to control masses.
Yes. Religion is very convenient, but I think Jim is broken free from that part. Like, he doesn't believe for a second that those in power are really, that they're good people. So right. I think he's broken that down. And look, if that's the way he wants to, to live his life, that's cool by me.
The Bible also says, I had in court, I had one, we call them the white shirts, like the court police, the bailiffs. Bailiff says to me one day, he goes, in, I don't know, collusions 13, whatever, I don't know what it is.
Okay.
God controls the government, and God controls the people within government.
Romans, yeah.
Yeah, Romans, yeah, that's what it is. And I'm like, really? Okay.
If that's the case, then God was in charge of Hitler and Stalin. And, which part of the government? Like the janitor? The guy who's going around and cleaning the toilets? Is that God's servant too? Because, am I supposed to listen to him? He works for the government. That sounds ridiculous to me. I believe that servants clean toilets, mind you, and I am your servant. Free Talk Live
is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
What good is it living in a free country if you don't live a free life? You're stuck going to a job or a stressful business. You're stuck in a relationship where you're pretty much a slave. That isn't happiness. You were meant for bigger and better things. There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses, and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,487, silver at $18.04, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,114. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing 1 or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, President Donald Trump on Tuesday abruptly forced out John Bolton, his hawkish national security advisor, with whom he had strong disagreements on Iran, Afghanistan, and a cascade of other global challenges. The sudden shakeup marked the latest departure of a prominent voice of dissent from the president's inner circle, as Trump has grown less accepting of advice contrary to his instincts. It also comes at a trying moment for Trump on the world stage, weeks ahead of the United Nations General Assembly, and as the president faces pressing decisions on difficult foreign policy issues. Tensions between Bolton, Trump's third national security advisor, and other officials have flared in recent months over influence in the president's orbit and how to manage his desire to negotiate with some of the world's most unsavory actors. Since joining the administration in the spring of last year, Bolton has espoused skepticism about the president's approach to North Korea and has recently become a vocal internal critic on potential talks between Trump and leaders of Iran and Afghanistan's Taliban. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Maxiel Perea dos Santos, A Brazilian government official who has been working with indigenous people to preserve the Amazon rainforest for over a decade was shot and killed in front of his family in an apparent assassination on Friday. Santos was shot twice in the head while riding a motorbike through a small city located in the Amazon rainforest, along Brazil's border with Colombia and Peru. Santos worked for a Brazilian government agency called the National Indian Foundation, which is tasked with protecting the land and interests of the indigenous people. The Mind Unleashed reports the INA, a union that represents workers for the agency, said that Santos was killed in retaliation for his work at the Veldo Javari Reservation. Santos was the chief of environmental services there for over 5 years and was essentially the head of a local enforcement authority that patrolled the area to protect native tribes from violent groups of raiders that frequently attack tribes so their land can be taken for development. Many sectors and geographical areas within the United States are already experiencing a recession. That word comes in a report from Activist Post, which says that faced with the choice of raising prices or cutting employees' hours to pay for tariffs, many are officially backed into a corner. While the mainstream media and the political establishment continue to claim that China is paying for the tariffs, those actually stuck paying for them are calling it what it is: propaganda. It's just politics as usual, and it's just an outright lie, says Greg Petrus, president of Kuhn North America, which employs some 600 people at its farm equipment factory in Wisconsin. For Kuhn, Trump's trade war has produced a toxic mix of rising costs and falling revenues. According to Bloomberg, hours are being cut, and the workforce is being furloughed to make ends meet. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Nothing you do or say will ever reach the lofty heights attained by the following news summary. This is the Onion Week in Review. Facing increased market pressure and a shrinking bottom line, media company Star Trove was forced to lay off dozens of unskilled bloggers this week. Sources confirmed that before being dismissed, many of the bloggers had been with the company for months, regularly performing menial tasks such as describing celebrity outfits and composing quizzes about Disney characters.
I mean, I'd been with this company for almost a year. It wasn't the most rewarding job, and I didn't have health insurance, but it paid the bills. I'm already 25 years old. I just don't know where to go from here.
In other news, a 6-day visit to a rural African village completely changes a woman's Facebook profile picture. A new dating website helps plus-size Jewish plane crash survivors find love. And a kid figures he'll go down the slide 36 more times and then call it a day.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. And you are free to call in and talk live here on the airwaves, just as Jim did in that last segment. And, you know, you're going to get to say what you want to say. And we're going to say what we want to say. And we may not always agree. And, you know, that doesn't mean you can't call back. It doesn't mean that, you know, it doesn't mean anything.
I just can't understand why people hate people because of, or dislike, or think they're going to, well, I guess you just dislike people or say horrible things about people who do things in the privacy of their own home, or, you know, boys kissing boys and stuff like that is like, you know, especially like the whole gay or lesbian or transsexual, like I can't wrap myself around any of that hatred at all, because those people have never ever caused me any aggravation in my life. They haven't taken my rights away.
I think it's two things. One, it's you know, the sort of religion is as religion is in the United States today, right? So I would venture to say that even if you read the Bible in a vacuum, right? You never had a preacher man, you never had a parent, you never had a teacher, you never had anybody tell you what it says, but you just read it and developed your own religion surrounding the Bible. That would be a pretty different religion than the religion that we have that we call Christianity today. So one, the Christianity, the Bible, doesn't spend a heck of a lot of time talking about gay folks, especially when you start looking at the translations, not the English translations, but the Aramaic and things like that, and Greek. When you look at those, you'll see that there's far fewer mentions of gay folks because some of it's just popped in the English translations. They take basically pedophiles and perverts and turn them into homosexuals, and that's not the same thing. And so there's that, right, on one hand. Secondly, I think people think to themselves, they put themselves in the shoes of the parents, right? And a lot of parents would be happier if you would go ahead and provide them with grandchildren. Right? And, do it quickly so that we have them in our youth. And so they, the homosexuality is looked down on from that standpoint because it disturbs this trend of providing, the older folks with grandchildren. So those are my two thoughts on the subject. I mean, my mother loves my son very much.
Do you want grandchildren, Mark?
Do I want grandchildren? I've never thought about it. I didn't want children.
Right.
Laura wanted children. So I probably will feel the same about grandchildren as I do about my child, which is beforehand I didn't want them, and afterwards I'm like, that's just great, right? Like I think this is the best decision. Interesting, I have a good friend who also feels the same way. He didn't want children, but his wife did, and then once he had one, he's like, let's have 4. Now, I don't want to have 4, but I'm happy with the one I have. There you go. That's my thought on the subject. Let's go to Terry calling in from Manchester. Terry, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, boys and boys and girls, I guess. Today.
That's right. If you go to cam.freetalklive.com, you can peer upon Angie's lovely visage.
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about initially off the bat. I'm a bit of a tech head. I'm kind of a tech guy. I don't want to brag or anything, but I'm kind of known as Tech Head Terry. People call me around Manchester and elsewhere on the internet. But I noticed you got a few cameras set up. Seems to be on an auto switch, so you seem to be switching auto. But all of the times when the camera switches, it's just on her, and she is very, very beautiful lady, but she's not talking really, and it's you guys talking, and you're off camera the entire time.
Okay, I don't understand what's going on. There should be a third cam setup that comes up
now, and it just switched over. And God, I wish it hadn't.
Right now, it's on Jay.
Yeah, I mean, Angie's just like,
not gonna lie. Now I kind of understand why you were keeping it on her. Oh God!
There should be another camera. There should be a 3-camera setup.
I got a question for that guy. Why you wear a shirt with no sleeves on it?
This shirt.
Hairy arms?
I'd love to tell you about this shirt. So my friend Rob Matthias.
I don't want to hear about it.
This is the most comfortable shirt I own. This is my favorite shirt. Like,
he's right though. You should not bare your upper arms.
Oh well, I really don't care.
They look like the upper arms of a bear.
My wife really likes it actually.
That's good.
Don't worry about what they say, Jay.
I got this
all
shirt.
That matters if the wife likes it, and you guys probably know, for all you historians of LRN.FM, you know that they used to actually wear no shirts at all on Tuesdays, world famous Topless Tuesdays.
Topless
that actually
Tuesday.
was outlawed.
Yeah. It is warm in here right now.
Yes, well,
I concur.
So what kind of microphones y'all working with there anyway?
RE37s. Somebody who doesn't wear reading glasses, just read along the edge there. It's
RE27.
RE27s, excuse me.
Oh, that's a nice rig, baby. You guys got a beautiful setup. What kind of audio interface y'all working with? You got a full board? What are we dealing with here?
Oh, you've got everything that there is, but you're going to have to call in on a different night, Terry, and talk about those things.
Baby, hit me with those specs, baby.
We don't know the answers.
Thanks Thanks for the call, Terry. I appreciate it. Actually, call in on a night that Ian's here, and he can talk to you about all the processing equipment. But you're right. We do have all the best stuff. Ian is an audiophile and loves his good stuff. But, Jay, you mentioned how you liked my voice of the angel that I did earlier.
Oh, yes.
And you wouldn't be able to get that quite as well if you didn't have the RE27 here. It's just it's that kind of mic that'll pick up those really deep
and if anybody
tones.
likes voices, Silver Dave loves doing like comedian voice like impressions and stuff. And he was listening to himself or something, I guess, from the last Wednesday, and he's like, man, you could do great voices with those mics. They're so awesome.
Right. They're built, these aren't singing microphones. These are talking microphones, and they're built specifically for the range, the human range. Sorry, Angie, they're built specifically for the male human range.
That's okay.
They really don't make good women's mics. And I think it's probably the singing mics would be better for women just because of the higher notes. That's just a guess. So anyway, let's go to the phones. We've got Phoenix calling in here, probably calling in from Illinois. Phoenix, you're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening, folks. King Mark the First. I'd love to, regard you as that. You sound more like Michael Dean right now.
I have Michael Dean's microphone at home.
Well, why don't you bring it in? That's supposed to be better.
No, he's got the RE20. Well, this is a slightly better mic for way too much more.
That is racist, and you shouldn't say things like
Indeed.
that.
Yes.
Chris, I'm stoked that you have one of Rob's shirts. You got that from what is it
Jay.
called? The Libido Funk Circus?
Oh, yeah, this is Jay. No, Hostel del Funk. So Rob Mathias, who used to do the Rebel Love show on LRN, now is an entrepreneur, and he's an importer. He actually goes down to Central America in the wintertime. He's a snowbird at 30-something. And then he's been cruising around festivals selling funked up threads. HostelDelFunk.com, I believe, is his website. You can find him there. But he's festivals all over the Northeast, and he gets these things imported from little towns in Costa Rica, Peru, some other place,
I'm
too.
sorry, what was that website one more time?
HostelDelFunk.com, I believe, is his website. I'll have to definitly ask him.
That's what I love.
Yeah,
I love hijacking the airwaves in order to, throw out some great agorist stuff. I'm calling tonight because, it's this great holiday that we all have come used to celebrating, 9/11. I don't know if everybody's aware, but Richard Grove, host of Tragedy and Hope, he's a man that's done amazing work with John Taylor Gatto. He's actually been doing a 24-hour live stream covering every single little detail about 9/11, from the trillions of dollars that were lost by the Pentagon to the trillions of dollars that were made on put options in the days before 9/11, all the way to every single whistleblower that James Corbett has covered in the past few days, from Brian Jennings, who was actually trapped in Tower 7, whose personally watched the towers fall from Tower 7. He was in Tower 7, and he watched Towers 1 and 2 fall. And
he got out of Tower 7, and then it fell?
He did.
Wow, that's an amazing story.
Absolutely.
Phoenix, thank you for the call. Appreciate that. Lots of strange things going on today. Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at mark@freetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. mark@freetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
Do you want to reach people with the ideas of liberty? Well, you could do it from the back of your car with libertystickers.com. You can reach thousands of people with a bumper sticker. You know that people love to read them. You've pulled forward in traffic just to be able to read somebody's bumper sticker. Check out the vast selection of witty, poignant, pithy, and downright bombastic liberty-oriented messages at libertystickers.com. It's libertystickers.com. So I guess we've kind of run the course on calls here, and we have been all over the map between sort of religion and 9/11 and Tulsi Gabbard and just a bunch of other things here. But Angie, you brought in a story about a guy who's had some healthcare problems in Canada. Go ahead.
He did. It was a story from lifenews.com.
And I suspect Life News is not an unbiased reporting source.
We'll let people form their own opinions, right?
But you can't always get your stories from unbiased sources because the unbiased sources aren't interested in stories like this. They are biased. Those unbiased sources are biased, and they're biased towards the government. And in this case, this is a pretty anti-government story.
The headline says, disabled 41-year-old man is euthanized after funding for home health care runs out. Canadian Sean Target, aged 41, was killed by assisted suicide after health officials decided to cut the funding for his in-home care hours. Mr. Target suffered from
Taggart, I think, is how we're going to pronounce it. Yeah,
Thank
that's how
you.
I would put the emphasis on that. Yeah.
I was just thinking Target, because I go there too much.
Oh, yeah, there's an hour in a different place.
Mr. Taggart suffered from motor neuron disease, which is known in Canada as amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. His illness reduced his ability to move his body, eat, or speak. However, his mental awareness remained unaffected. Doctors recommended 24-hour in-home support to support Mr. Taggart.
Can you imagine being trapped in your own body in that way? I mean, like
No,
the parts don't move, but there you are, just sort of bored. I mean, think about the interface that people have more or less on their phones, right? I mean, this is the way that we combat boredom these days. He can't move his thumbs, his fingers, or whatever. I see a picture of him here with his hands folded on his lap.
Yep.
Likely because he can't move his arms. Yeah, he's sitting in front of something, but it's probably because somebody's changing out videos in front of him till he dies.
However, Vancouver Coastal Health initially only offered Mr. Taggart 15 and a half hours of care a day, which was then raised to 20 hours a day, meaning that Mr. Taggart was forced to pay $263.50 a day for the remaining care that he needed to survive.
So I'm kind of curious about that part. So they, the doctors recommend 24 hours, and then the Vancouver Coastal Health, which I guess is just Vancouver's healthcare system, because they have socialized medicine up there in Canada, says, oh, how about 15 and a half hours? And then they up it to 20 hours. So 4 hours a day is he's unwatched. But I mean, if somebody wasn't watching me from the hours of, say, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m., they wouldn't notice much.
What if they broke it up in like 15 or 30-minute increments?
Right. Well, if, like one shift leaves me for 2 hours and another shift leaves me for 2 hours, yeah, that'd be absolutely fine by me. All right, Mark, time to go. We're putting on Avengers Endgame out of here, and that's 2.5 hours. You'll be fine. I don't know how long it is. Maybe it's 3 hours. Got it, whatever.
According to Grandin Media on social media, Mr. Taggart wrote a status which explained that the two Vancouver Coastal Health officials visited his home and confirmed that they were cutting funding for his already inadequate care hours. After receiving this news, Mr. Taggart wrote a number of devastating social media statuses, which read, "So last Friday, I officially submitted my medically assisted death paperwork. With lawyers and doctors, everything is in proper order. It's been a month since I submitted my appeal to the Vancouver Coastal Health Patient Care Quality Department. They didn't even respond. Welcome to the great Canadian healthcare system."
So he's like, I need more care, and they didn't even bother to respond.
Nope, in a month.
And, I'm sort of two minds on this, right? So I can see how any organization that's required to pay for, health care for somebody is going to sort of, look at any given situation and say, all right, there's too much money going over here. We need this money for this. Like they're allocating funds. But when it's the government, they then become basically executioner. I mean, the death panels that they talked about when we were, when Obamacare was being pushed in. I mean, isn't that what this is?
Well, if healthcare becomes a right, the way the American leftists say it's a right, you will most certainly have death panels. I mean, you have a right to own property. We can all agree on that. But does that mean that that you are assigned a piece of property and that's yours just because you happen to be here? There's a difference between rights have, replace the word rights with responsibility. I mean, it takes a lot of responsibility to own that property. But, healthcare just can't be just doled out for free to everybody because somebody's got to pay for it. There's no such thing as free healthcare.
Can you define a death panel? Like, what would that be?
Sure. Any organization that's paying for, healthcare for somebody has to make a decision, right? Like, let's say it's you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's say you're in bad shape and you're going to have to be taken care of for the rest of your life.
Okay.
And with a lack of care, you'd die. And with, enough care, you'll continue to peter on. But it'll deplete all of the savings in your family, right? Like, you have to spend every penny that you guys have put away. Your husband has to, when you do finally die, and we all will, like every one of us listening or talking right now are going to die. So when you do finally die, not only do you die, but you die and the people you love are impoverished at the same time. Well, they're probably going to make a decision, right? That they're probably going to say at some point or another, this is just too expensive to keep going. And she wouldn't want to live like this, is what they'll tell themselves and things like that, right? But, the reality is that that healthcare is a service, services cost money, and that money is part of the decision-making process.
Okay.
We're told that when the government takes it over, money goes out of the decision-making process. But Mr. Taggart here stands in stark contrast to that horse crap that you're being fed by the left when it all finally happens. Obamacare collapses as it's designed to do. Right, the monopoly that was created, the cartelized health insurance industry that was created under Obamacare finally collapses, finally draws pricing up so high that people demand that the government step in and fix this problem by taking over universal health care. I will point out that prior to Obamacare, under George Bush, the United States government paid out $3 out of every $4 in health care. We already had socialized medicine. With Obamacare, it's more than $7 out of every $8 is now being paid out by the government. So, there's still elective surgeries that people can take, and there's still some people who are holdouts like me who pay their health care, with USDs as opposed to, insurance.
I don't have any health insurance, and I just, deal with health care on a.
I don't have insurance.
Basically, when I.
Yeah.
With cash.
The number, 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE. Are you for socialized medicine? Do you have an explanation for this? I'd love to hear it. Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. With experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Are you a sneezer?
If you're not, can you get close to one? I don't literally mean someone sneezing. Sneezer, as defined by marketing guru Seth Godin, is an opinion leader. When a sneezer mentions something, other people catch what Godin calls the idea virus. Seth Godin says some people are more likely to tell their friends about a great new idea. So identifying and courting sneezers is a key success factor for idea merchants. His book, Unleashing the Idea Virus, is the most downloaded ebook in history, and you can download the whole book free. That's how he's making his idea contagious. Click tips, tricks, and other stuff to help you cut through the clutter at www.survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
I want to tell you about Freedom's Phoenix. It's a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. And what that means is they collect a bunch of news stories that are relevant to people who like the ideas of liberty. So I read it every single day. Like, no kidding. Every single day. So I made a list here. It's the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. They're very good at that stuff. Plus, all the news you possibly want to hear on dirigibles and airships. Ernie's, the guy who puts it together, is passionate about blimps. So, but the one I'm thinking about today is the historical findings. If you're interested in those kind of stories where they found a special gold pot in, I don't know, Pompeii, or, found a Viking king with a cool sword in Sweden. Yeah. freedomsphoenix.com is the place to go get that. And so much more. Freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. Read with me at freedomsphoenix.com. Angie, we were talking about this story about the great Canadian healthcare system where everybody is taken care of for no dollars at all. Like they're for free, you're taken care of, cradle to grave. It's just that sometimes the grave comes sooner than you might think.
That's a trick, isn't it? Because do they use dollars or pesos in Canada?
You do use dollars in Canada.
I don't understand then.
Canadian dollars.
The article continues and said Mr. Taggart was killed by assisted suicide on August 6th. Canada is home to some of the world's most sinister euthanization and assisted suicide laws, as even those without a terminal illness or those suffering from a mental illness are eligible to be killed by medically assisted death.
Now, this is from lifenews.com, so obviously they have a stance on, medically assisted suicide. I suspect they're against medically assisted suicide at all. I do not come down on that side, but I would say that there was a story, and I think I might have read it on air with you guys, out of maybe Denmark or Belgium or something like that, of this young lady who had been sexually assaulted, and somehow it mentally disturbed her so much.
I do remember
that she decided, I think it was on her 17th birthday or 18th birthday,
Yep.
to be euthanized. There was nothing medically wrong with her. She was a completely healthy young lady, and she decided to kill herself. Basically, have doctors help her kill herself because she couldn't put up with what was going on in her head. And I like to think of myself as progressive on subjects like this. It's your life. You get to do with it as you please, but I cannot help but consider that a waste, a terrible waste of a life. That somebody had something bad happen to them, and they did, and that the best solution they could come up with is suicide. I mean, it makes me very sad.
At 17 years old.
Yeah,
you have your entire life.
Makes me so sad to think of it. that somehow she couldn't put whatever joys she must have experienced in that amount of time, that they just wouldn't counteract the pain that she felt she was experiencing. And I don't know what else to say about it. I find medically assisted suicide for young people with mental health issues to be sad.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, I have a friend a couple years ago. I was a little concerned about that because they have talked about suicide and like some stuff got bad with his like relationship and stuff. And I was like, dude, if you're that depressed, why don't you let's try some psychedelics? Give it a shot. He's one of these guys who's like, oh, he thinks anything that's like not approved by like you know normal things is not good. I'm like, so go eat some mushrooms. Go do an ayahuasca thing.
You might as well. I mean, you've got a little bit of money in life, one would presume.
This guy's got a little bit of money.
Go and do something like that. We had a caller call in, and this has been a few years now, but a caller who had been sexually molested as a child. A man who, an older man, probably older than I am, and something happened. I don't know what the story is. He just said that he was sexually molested as a child, and that basically he built a business and he finished the business, and now he's done with that, and he just can't get over this one thing that happened. And I think he might have been in Canada, but I'm not entirely sure. What we had read on air is that MDMA or Molly or whatever you're calling this particular drug, MDMA is its sort of name, and I couldn't give you the whole
chemical acronym.
Yeah, ecstasy is another term they use for it. Is used by counseling organizations in Canada to help people who are dealing with PTSD. From either sexual trauma or from soldiering or whatever, and that they've had quite a bit of success with it. So, we said, hey, go do that first. You might as well spend the money on it if you're going to kill yourself.
Of course.
Because he was talking about leaving a bunch of money to Free Talk Live. I'm like, no, take the money you were going to leave to Free Talk Live and go to Canada for this. And, I certainly would love some money given to Free Talk Live. I love that and whatever. But, the guy, I wouldn't want him to do that. I mean, it's terrible, right? So he did, and he, wrote back later, and he said, thanks, guys. You gave me a new life. Thank you.
That's excellent.
Yeah. And that basically this had helped him in some way. Even if it was only temporary, right? Even if these terrible thoughts creep back in, he can go do it again, and maybe it'll have more of an effect. Either way, he got X number of years out of it, and it's still better.
I have some personal friends that I made out in Colorado that claim that they've treated themselves essentially with Molly. And they're not into doing Molly all the time. They did it. One girl said she did it for basically a summer off of college, and hasn't, a couple of years before this, and she hadn't done it since, and she feels fine. And she just kind of did it on a whim, why not? And she didn't want to get on the drugs that all the mass shooter killer kids are on,
right.
Psychotropic.
So she dealt with her depression in that way.
So she just kind of did it black market style. She internet research, and basically the first time she did it, she called up some of her friends and was like, hey, I want you to help me out with this. This is what I'm going to do. And the one friend's freaked out. It's an illegal drug. Why would you do this?
Yeah.
So the one friend left. A few other friends hung out with her. She did her ecstasy or Molly or whatever. And but it wasn't like she was out at a rave and some party or something kind of thing. It was literally she took it as medicine and with that intent.
Right. If you're at home and you've got some bottles of water nearby, the chances are good that you'll be just fine.
And some sober babysitters. She literally, some of her closest friends just hung out. Basically, she had a slumber party with some of her closest girlfriends.
Right. The biggest problems with Molly are overheating and dehydration and drinking too much water.
You have to pee a lot.
It can go one way or the other.
Yeah.
Well, you can drink too much water. I guess you can't really tell how much water is enough, or thirst when you're on Molly or something.
Right. People get people can get a little neurotic about drinking water. If you're drinking water every minute, it can be bad.
Maybe somebody with Molly or ecstasy experience could call into the show and explain it to us, because I don't really understand it. So
okay. Well, go ahead, Angie.
No, I'm good.
All right. So anyway, that's what happened with this guy. And as far as it goes with the assisted suicide thing, I don't support it, but I think it's your right. There's one. It's two things, right? Like, I may not support you doing a big fat growler of cocaine, but it's your right.
Mm-hmm.
And assisted suicide even more so. I don't support it because, you're ending your life. But for people who are in terrible pain from terminal illnesses or, things like that, I can see it. But for people who are, suffering from mental pain, I feel like there's some kind of therapies you could try ahead of this. Maybe I'm wrong. Certainly ignorance plays a role here. I don't have to deal with these kind of problems in my life. Thank God for that. The number, 855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE if you have any thoughts on the Canadian healthcare system and their role in this man's suicide or assisted suicide generally. The number, 855.
Hey everyone, Proactive MD has an incredible offer for our radio listeners only. Stay tuned for our exclusive offer that includes a free charcoal pore cleansing brush and free shipping. Proactive MD with prescription strength adapalene can heal and prevent future breakouts. Today, for just $19.95, we're offering listeners the 3-piece Proactive MD system with free shipping, plus a free gift, the new charcoal pore cleansing brush. Get this exclusive offer by calling now, 1-800-583-8662. Or go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO. You heard right. Proactive MD plus free shipping and a free gift. The new charcoal pore cleansing brush. You'll get all this for just $19.95 and their 60-day money-back guarantee. You're guaranteed to get clear and stay clear, or you get your money back. Call now. 1-800-583-8662. That's 1-800-583-8662. Or go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO. Again, go to proactive.com and enter promo code RADIO.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally caught up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get to Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 800-590-4930. 800-590-4930. 800-590-4930. That's 800-590-4930.
Free Talk Live.
They have satellite image pictures of cities on the moon.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
That's a load of garbage. I've never heard of any such thing. A quick Google search would reveal whatever these lame-o pictures are supposed to be, which, of course, you yourself have never done, right? You've never seen these alleged photos, correct?
No, but it's actually the...
Why would you go around saying that there are pictures of cities on the moon if you yourself have never seen them?
Well, because I heard it on a late night, 2 o'clock in the morning when I used to have that show here.
Yeah, you're talking about the overnight kook show?
Coast to Coast.
Coast to Coast?
Yeah, they banned that show 5 years ago.
No, they didn't.
But I used to say...
Who's they?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. I want to get right back into this news story, Angie. We've got this story from Canada where this guy, 41 years old, had some kind of terrible disease. ALS, and he can't move good portions of his body. He was prescribed by the doctors to have 24-hour care, and at no point did the Canadian healthcare system give him his 24 hours worth of care. And at some point, they cut it down to like 15 hours, 15 and a half hours. 15 and a half hours. And he committed suicide, like doctor-assisted suicide. And I guess this goes on quite a bit in Canada, like 3,000 cases per year. Is that what we were saying?
It says in 2018, Canada's euthanization figures soar with over 3,000 Canadians killed by their doctor. That is correct. 3,000 cases a year.
Go on with the story if you would.
A Comrest poll found that nearly half of the British population is concerned that if the option of ending one's life was made legal, some people would feel pressurized into killing themselves. It is becoming increasingly evident that the suicide laws could lead to vulnerable people seeing suicide as a treatment option so as not to be burdened to others. In a recent debate in the House of Commons, MP Lynch McKines expressed her concern at the very realistic possibility of the vulnerable being pressurized to die. Ms. McKines said, "My concern is that in the current climate, at a time of overstretched NHS budgets and massively underfunded social care, if assisted dying was legalized, it would begin to be seen as an alternative to treatment and care."
Well, yeah, I think that that's true, and I suspect that's true.
Especially if you're like a ward of the state and you're on like welfare. I mean, my grandfather, this was his problem with legalizing abortion. He figured that, and he grew up in New York State, or he grew up in New York City area, and lived in New York most of his life. And he figured if the government that he lived under his entire life was able to, abortion was legal, and this was years ago, we had this conversation 20 years ago, that a day would come where if you were on welfare and you're going to have your fifth or sixth baby, that the state would somehow obtain this right to say, well, we're executing that baby, for example. That was his problem with it. It shouldn't be illegal or legal. The state should not be involved with it. And that's kind of, I feel the same thing about this, euthanizing it. When you give the state the power to do that, you shouldn't give them any power to do that.
I kind of feel like that's what has happened with abortion. If you look at the numbers, so first off, who's for abortion? Democrats, right?
Yeah, and I know people that like literally feel, I had a girl say this, you're not cool, in like the Democrat thing unless you've had an abortion. They're like almost romanticizing it. Somebody's like hardcore extreme lefty horse chicks that I know, for example.
Yeah, I don't know much about all that, but I can say that, so who's more likely to get an abortion, a Democrat or a Republican?
I would say a Democrat.
Who's more likely to get an abortion, a young person or old person?
I would say young.
Okay. Who's more likely to get an abortion, a poor person, a middle-class person, or a wealthy person?
Poor person.
Okay. Who's more likely to get an abortion, somebody who's white or somebody who of a different ethnicity?
I would say, the different ethnicity.
As per person in the U.S. of that ethnicity, yes, absolutely, that's true. There are a lot of white abortions, but it's because there's a lot of white women. The long story short is that these, if there's a genocide going on, if there's some kind of plan to wipe folks out, it's the folks that they would have wanted to wipe out back in the day anyway.
Oh, you mean the ones that Margaret Sanger talked about?
Right. What
was her famous quote? I don't really know it, but
I don't know what they all are either, and I've heard that I don't know. I don't even know what the thing is with Margaret Sanger. I wouldn't even propose to know. But if it's some kind of genocide, it's working.
Okay, so you guys are both anti-abortion.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Right?
Not really. I mean, me personally, I think it's a poor mistake for a lady to make. I have convinced a few people not to do it in my life, a few friends of mine, because when your body goes through pregnancy and then there's an abortion, things aren't following through just physically. Like there's rates of like breast cancer are higher, other reproductive type cancers. It's not like especially if it's like a good healthy baby and stuff, everything's going well. It's I believe it's radically hard on a woman's body. First off,
absolutely,
and
it is.
All the girls that I've personally known, with the exception of one that I can think of that have had abortions, really emotionally suffer from it. That is probably the worst side effect, I believe, of abortion.
And what I would say is that it's something that, first off, you have to make the decision on your own, right? Like it's a decision that you have to make for yourself, not to have somebody else, make the decision for you. So
you don't think that the dad or whoever the father is should have some say?
Yeah, absolutely. They should have some say. They should have some say. But, where I come down is I've had a child, right? And I am the protector of that child.
Right.
And prior to that child, I didn't really give a flip about abortions or not abortions. After that child's born, suddenly I care. And it's because I want to protect my child.
Right.
And I understand the feeling that other people have. So, I can pull that back and say, your life is your life, and you get to make a decision for your family the way you make your decision for your family. But, ultimately, I'm against it personally.
So you think that it's a woman's choice, but if you were in the situation,
it's a serious decision,
right?
I think
is what it is. But
I
it's also a huge decision to bring a child into the world that one you can't care for, one you're a drug addict, one that could be a drug baby, one that it's not going to be able to survive in the conditions that it's going to live in, homeless on the street. There's no telling.
Yep.
I've had a couple of friends. I've probably about 8 different times now. I've like literally, growing up on a horse farm, there's all these young girls around, and that, some of them in their, late teens, early 20s, and they're like, I can't really handle it, college, blah, blah, blah. And basically what I told them was the reasons why I think that they shouldn't. But I did tell them that I wouldn't hate them if they went through it, that I would support them either way. And a couple of them, I think, I know I've talked a few of them out of it, and a few of them went ahead with it and did it. And as their friend, I supported them, based on their decision, but they were in some pretty tough spots, and I mean, that it's not a position I would want anybody to be in, that's for sure.
Let's go to the phones. We've got Sal calling in from Arkansas. Sal, you're on Free Talk Live.
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Good.
Hey, you were talking about this thing in Canada about assisted suicide and things, but I am a huge fan, and I think
a huge fan of assisted suicide.
No, of a guy that was saved because this law is not in act.
Oh, okay.
And his name is Corey Sharon. Do you know that name?
No. But this is kind of
Corey Sharon.
All right. When people call in and drop names over and over again, it's often a crank. Like, does Corey Sharon have a YouTube?
Not at all. No, he probably does. You probably Corey.
Oh God.
CHA.
I'm about to drop you.
RRON. Why?
Because I think you're plugging some YouTube douche's YouTube channel.
No, I'm telling you. This is the best.
Tell me the story.
I have ever
heard. How did Corey get saved? Tell me the story.
Okay, he's the best guy to ever make it in
You
battle
just said
rap.
that. How did he get saved? What was wrong with him? What was his illness?
I just said battle rap.
What? Battle rap is hold on. Battle rap is his illness?
No, battle rap is his salvation. Autism was his illness.
Battle rap?
He made autism.
What is battle rap?
Battle? Oh my God! Are we really? Is this amateur hour? What is this?
Amateur hour? I've been on the radio for 20 years. You're the one who can't stop dropping Corey's name. What did you say?
You can't get 10 viewers at any given time.
On what?
What does that make your life?
My life, I'm on 200 radio stations. What are you talking about? This isn't a YouTube channel. Get out of here. Crank calls.
Battle Rap Gamer is what like the search shows. Yeah. I don't know. It must be. Right. I don't know.
If you go on somebody's channel who's only getting 10 views or whatever he's claiming, why would you take the time to go on there? Just wondering.
Well, I don't know. Why? Who's only getting 10 viewers?
That's his claim. I don't know.
Well, right now, are we broadcasting on YouTube right now?
Maybe we're on YouTube. Maybe he's seeing that on YouTube. Maybe he's seeing it on DLive or Twitch. I don't know which channel he's listening on. We're on 3 different video streams, plus cam.freetalklive.com, plus satellites that span North America and Africa, plus up to 200 radio stations at any given time. I'm thinking we're doing okay for listeners. That's what I'm thinking. Free Talk Live.
Balance of nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
While I'm searching for the perfect balance, there's hundreds of thousands of chemicals just in an apple alone, and hundreds of thousands in an orange, and all of them. If I can just remove the water without damaging all of the other chemistry, then I can pack it more dense. I never imagined that I would be able to get it down to 3 fruit capsules and 3 vegetable capsules and have the same nutrient value as eating over 10 servings of fruits and vegetables every day.
Experience the balance of nature difference for yourself. Call or go online now and become a preferred customer, which gives you our best pricing and free shipping. And after your 3rd month, we will ship to you at no charge an additional set of fruits and veggies. This will be a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code FREETALKLIVE.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,487. Silver at $18.04. And Bitcoin is trading around $10,114. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at InnoScale.net. In the news, President Donald Trump on Tuesday abruptly forced out John Bolton, his hawkish national security advisor, with whom he had strong disagreements on Iran, Afghanistan, and a cascade of other global challenges. The sudden shakeup marked the latest departure of a prominent voice of dissent from the president's inner circle, as Trump has grown less accepting of advice contrary to his instincts. It also comes at a trying moment for Trump on the world stage, weeks ahead of the United Nations General Assembly, and as the president faces pressing decisions on difficult foreign policy issues. Tensions between Bolton, Trump's third national security advisor, and other officials have flared in recent months over influence in the president's orbit and how to manage his desire to negotiate with some of the world's most unsavory actors. Since joining the administration in the spring of last year, Bolton has espoused skepticism about the president's approach to North Korea and has recently become a vocal internal critic on potential talks between Trump and leaders of Iran and Afghanistan's Taliban. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Maxil Perea dos Santos, a Brazilian government official who has been working with indigenous people to preserve the Amazon rainforest for over a decade, was shot and killed in front of his family in an apparent assassination on Friday. Santos was shot twice in the head while riding a motorbike through a small city located in the Amazon rainforest, along Brazil's border with Colombia and Peru. Santos worked for a Brazilian government agency called the National Indian Foundation, which is tasked with protecting the land and interests of the indigenous people. The Mind Unleashed reports the INA, a union that represents workers for the agency, said that Santos was killed in retaliation for his work at the Veldo Chivari Reservation. Santos was the chief of environmental services there for over 5 years and was essentially the head of a local enforcement authority that patrolled the area to protect native tribes from violent groups of raiders that frequently attack tribes so their land can be taken for development. Many sectors and geographical areas within the United States are already experiencing a recession. That word comes in a report from Activist Post, which says that faced with the choice of raising prices or cutting employees' hours to pay for tariffs, many are officially backed into a corner. While the mainstream media and the political establishment continue to claim that China is paying for the tariffs, those actually stuck paying for them are calling it what it is: propaganda. It's just politics as usual, and it's just an outright lie, says Greg Petrus, president of Kuhn North America, which employs some 600 people at its farm equipment factory in Wisconsin. For Kuhn, Trump's trade war has produced a toxic mix of rising costs and falling revenues. According to Bloomberg, hours are being cut, and the workforce is being furloughed to make ends meet. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A heroic broken sewage pipe floods Congress with waste. Johnson & Johnson introduces new leave-in Q-tips. This Thursday, local youth Andrew Robillard told reporters he had no idea why he couldn't wear his Iron Man costume to his grandfather's funeral. Robillard, whose grandfather passed away this week after complications from a stroke, vented his frustration to reporters and noted that his grandpa, quote, probably wouldn't even care if he dressed like Iron Man at the funeral.
Iron Man is awesome. I want to wear my Iron Man suit. I am Iron Man.
And in tech news, a news website refers to its users' ceaseless exchange of racial slurs as a discussion. In other news, Guinness World Records promotes the man who can lift 27 pounds with his tongue to editor-in-chief. Thursday's cry is moved up to Wednesday due to a scheduling conflict, and a family watches in silence as dad checks out the waitress.
This is the Onion News Network.
Period and beat the average of their passive peers amongst the lowest cost funds in any given category versus the highest cost funds, because the low cost funds, for all intents and purposes, might have 1 or 2 5-year-olds nagging them as opposed to 5 or 6.
So interesting.
Couldn't figure out where that audio was coming from. Love these browsers. You open up a page and suddenly it starts yicking at you. The number, 855-450-3733 here on Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. And we were just talking about, in the last hour, the Canadian healthcare system and how it basically forced a man, in his opinion, to commit assisted suicide. They helped a guy that was not dying to kill himself, doctor-assisted suicide. And apparently that goes on quite a bit in Canada, according to, was it lifenews.com?
What were the numbers on that again? Because that was kind of shocking.
3,000 a year.
3,000 in the 2018, right?
Yep.
And
people that are basically convinced to commit suicide.
Well, not all of them. That's just the assisted suicide.
It's only assisted suicide. So some of these people are like,
some have terminal
I don't want to
illnesses.
suffer anymore because cancer.
But some of them are also just people who have mental illness and they want to die, and people who are, like this guy who's basically receiving substandard treatment and decided to kill himself rather than deal with it. And that's what his words are, not mine. I wanted to talk about Bernie Sanders and some of his thoughts. He wants to make sure that there's, college for everybody, forgive all the college debt, to get what they call Medicare for all. What is Medicare? Medicare is when you reach a certain age, I think 62 and a half maybe, you then get your medical care taken care of by the government.
And it's also the reason that when you visit an ER and you get the bill, the aspirin costs $100 because that's a deal Medicare made with Bayer to pay $100 per aspirin. So that sets the rate, essentially. This is why when you go buy some insulin or whatever up in Canada, it's a fraction of the price because basically the Medicare deal with these drug companies is just ludicrous. Just lines the pockets of drug company investors.
Right. And I'm of the opinion Obamacare was, set up to fail.
Sure.
That it was designed to drive up prices and drive down service. So
let's make it so bad that they'll beg us for.
Were prices already high then before Obamacare came?
Not nearly as high. They've gone
Okay.
up and up and up for medical care.
Yeah, there's some people are paying like $2,400 a month for family health insurance.
Right.
And there's like a $7,000 deductible that like with the Obamacare before it kicks in.
Yeah, for the year.
For the
You have to
year.
pay
So
that.
it's like, that's crazy.
Yeah. So going on here, I've got a couple of articles on this, both of them from thelibertarianrepublic.com. Presidential candidate Bernie Sanders has made headlines several times over the past week as more and more people question how the country could ever afford his plan. On Friday, Bill Maher pushed a flummoxed Sanders over the untenable costs of his platform. Now, liberal media darling George Stephanopoulos has finally gotten Sanders to say the truth. He plans on raising taxes for everyone. And
that's at war on the people. I mean, how are taxes enforced? By men with guns. I mean, raising taxes on people here in the United States is almost worse than the acts of war Bernie Sanders has voted for against people on the other side of the world with like sanctions against Iran and other things. And now he's actually, I mean, that's a sanction on the American people as far as I'm concerned, a tax.
Right. I mean, it's also says basically you can only have the health care that we provide. Look at what happened to this guy in Canada. When you demand people's money for things, you're going to I think it's first important to note
government does it.
Right. We do not currently have some kind of free market in healthcare. Nobody alive today really remembers a free market in healthcare. If you want to find out what a free market in healthcare looks like, go look up the impossible solution for healthcare. Google it, and you'll find it on the Of Two Minds blog, and they make a really great case for it. But the fact is that when George Bush was in office, 3 out of every $4 spent in healthcare was spent by the government. It was already 3/4 socialized at that point. Obama comes in, it's 7/8 socialized, and when Sanders is done, it'll be 100% socialized.
I won't comply, so it won't be quite 100%. I'm still gonna go. I want to find in a New Movers meeting. There was a lady who is the physician's assistant. And she's like, I got to get licensed in New Hampshire. I'm like, no, why don't you be our black market doctor's physician's assistant? I really tried. She was not listening to me. She thought I was absolutely crazy.
Sure.
But she moved here for the FSP. And because that's how I want to buy my health care, is someone who's got all this stuff and, just works outside the system, because I believe they're going to be much more efficient. When you don't have to deal with bureaucracy, you can just actually do your job. That's going to be the best doctors, I think.
Well, I'd be interested in talking to somebody like that too. But ultimately, this is what we're likely to see in our lifetimes. I believe that the system is set on a crash course for this, and that there's really no getting around it. And it's worth noting what George Stephanopoulos says here. So the Vermont senator appeared on This Week with George Stephanopoulos, where he was pressed on what his plan would actually cost Americans. After some back and forth, Bernie admits that he will be raising everyone's taxes, not just the rich, because that's not going to do it, as many of his supporters believe. I think if you're talking about guaranteeing paid family leave, I'm sorry, that's my Bernie Sanders voice. That's not Bernie Sanders. It's and medical leave, which will virtually every other major country has, that will require a small increase in payroll taxes. So that is Sanders. Ah, shoot. Require a small increase in payroll taxes. This is going to hit everybody, the host remarked. That would, that would. Bernie acknowledges, of course, when you're calling for $18 trillion in new spending, that's around $2 trillion more than the nation's entire gross domestic product in a year.
Well, an intelligent parasite needs to shoot high with their costs, right? So when they bring it to $9 trillion, oh, that's more affordable than we originally thought. You're just going to get inventive with how to pay for it. Bernie will raise taxes on everyone because he has to, and that's just the kicker. If Sanders were to become president, he would severely devalue our dollar to enable spending, the results of which would be inflation and a higher cost of living for everybody. Will the Federal Reserve let the president do that? Devalue our dollar to nothing?
They won't let Trump do it,
right?
Supposedly.
Does Bernie even have this power to do what he's talking about, to raise taxes on everyone?
No, and I think that's one thing that's worth pointing out about a Sanders presidency.
So they got nothing better to talk about with this guy except for stuff that he actually can't do as president.
Well, that's what people want him for, though, is that they want him because he wants things like college, free college, free health care, free, everything, right? But he can't deliver it. And we still have a rigged system where Republicans are likely to be the majority in the House of Representatives.
Tulsi can't deliver this either. But Bernie's not talking about ending war. He's not up there destroying, corporate shills like Kamala Harris. He's just being a puppet, and he was proven to be a puppet when he endorsed Hillary last time around.
Right. He sort of, what appeared for all intents and purposes to be Hillary stacking the deck.
He's literally a sideshow, for the machine.
So why does he go back in and run again? If maybe what he's thinking is just, well, I'll get the next to go around.
So they can fill spots with people like Bernie Sanders, so they can make sure Tulsi Gabbard doesn't get into the Democratic. I mean, you just need someone who's just there to mutter and not really get any traction. Bernie's taken care
He's
of quite well.
He's got all kinds of traction, though.
Well, but they're
bumper
just
stickers all over.
Yep, there is. They're just going to shut him down. I mean, it's not real traction. I
don't feel like he can win because he's too old, personally. I mean, the Americans just aren't going to vote for somebody who's older than Donald Trump, our oldest president.
Yeah, and anything Bernie says just doesn't make any sense to me. And he's so easy to destroy on war because he's voted for war several times. Sanctions are acts of war. As a senator, he voted for sanctions on other countries.
Don't forget that he voted for that F-35 debacle thing because it benefited the
Boeing,
the Air Force base over near Burlington. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live, or you can use the Discord lines at discord.freetalklive.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. Helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Warning, this is a privacy alert. You are being spied on right now as I speak by your phone. If you want this to stop, visit govt.bags.com and we'll show you how elite military units protect themselves and how you can too. Govt bags are lab tested and guaranteed for life. Visit govtbags.com now and enter discount code FTL to save 15%. That's govtbags.com. Discount code FTL. Your privacy depends on it. End transmission.
Free Talk Live is now on more than 200 radio stations nationwide. We've had more than 18 million podcast downloads, and we claim millions of listens a month. We're a multimedia ad venue with print, email, web, and terrestrial radio marketing platforms. We strive to have ad packages that cater to advertisers big and small. Contact me today at marketfreetalklive.com to see what we can do for you. Marketfreetalklive.com. If you're a local advertiser, contact this station. But if you can service a national audience, contact me, marketfreetalklive.com.
Do you ever feel like no matter how free your country becomes, you aren't free? You're stuck in your job, a stressful business, or maybe a relationship, all of which where you're not allowed to do what you really want to do. There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses, and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about what you want to talk about here on Free Talk Live. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. You can either use the Discord lines at discord.freetalklive.com, or you can use the call-in lines. The number is 855-450-3733. I want to tell you about Bitcoin.com. Bitcoin.com is your premier source for all things that are related to cryptocurrency. They're going to have news. They're going to have the instructions. So if you just go to Bitcoin.com and you get getting started, I believe it's right there at the top. And they've got videos that'll tell you what cryptocurrency is, how to use cryptocurrency, how to get a wallet. They have a wallet app right there, how to buy it. They have the ability to buy cryptocurrency, I believe, with a credit card right there, and a variety of other ways. They also have a way to meet, personally or do it online anonymously at local.bitcoin.com. They have lots of ways for you to spend your cryptocurrency, places like giftcards.bitcoin.com. It really is the one-stop shop. And don't forget the news. Great news sources at news.bitcoin.com. It's, this website really is well promoted, well laid out, and I think you're going to be happy with it if you're interested in finding out more about cryptocurrencies. That's bitcoin.com. They've been a sponsor of Free Talk Lives for a very long time, and we're proud to have them.
I've recommended them to several customers with great success. In fact, 100% success. People who've never had Bitcoin wallets, just go to bitcoin.com and watch some videos I tell them. And, the next day they're like, what's your Bitcoin Cash address so I can pay you? It's pretty much what it's been.
Yep. So we were talking about this article from the libertarianrepublic.com, and it's just sort of the costs of many of these programs that many of these Democratic candidates are trotting out. Now, it's certainly understandable when young people say, I don't want to pay for this college debt. I'm not using this college degree. I don't want it. I don't want to pay it, and it stinks. And, they come up with reasons why it would be good if college was free or why their debt should be forgiven.
Public schools, these guidance counselors, I graduated in 1998. They were shilling college to us like crazy. Yeah. Like, you are going to be nothing without a college degree,
sure,
is what I heard from college guidance counselors. Well, I don't have a college degree. But my buddy's got all kinds of years of college, and they've had to file bankruptcy. They couldn't buy a house, or this is like, it stops you from buying a house when you got a bunch of college debt, and bankruptcy doesn't even solve the problem, which one friend thought it was going to, and he actually, because some lawyer needed another bankruptcy case, I guess. So, yeah.
Right. If you want to start a family and have a house and do all the American things that there are to do, but you've got $100,000 of college debt hanging over your head, it's going to be kind of hard.
But if you join the military, like a lot of my friends did, guess what happens to that college debt?
Does it disappear?
It can get deferred. It can disappear. The GI Bill will pay it off. I have basically a lady who's like pretty much a sister to me, and that's essentially what she did with her college debt.
I didn't know that the GI Bill would pay off college debt.
I don't know how it worked, but she got her college debt paid off via Navy somehow. And basically it was, pay this loan, go back to school, or go into the Navy. And she had some very good, she got paid well in the Navy because she had a good college education. She went to Keene State for her first 3 years, and then she went to DePaul, I think it's called, in Chicago for 3 years. She had
DePage.
DePage, yeah, okay. And then she joined the Navy, and now, and basically at 8 years later, after being in the Navy, she doesn't have that college debt to pay, and somehow the Navy, but it was the big thing was. Well, if you join the Navy, you don't have to worry about this debt. It was deferred. Or if you go back into school, it's deferred.
And again, I understand why people don't want to pay college debt. It's, in a lot of cases, you're not using it. And in a lot of cases, the debt that you have, it's a lot higher than what you thought you were going to be making when you got out.
And the first year of college is a tremendous waste of time and money for most people that go to like these major party universities.
Right. The idea that you're going to rush off to university, the first 2 years. Right. I mean, the first
everybody
2 years,
changes their major.
The first 2 years in university are for people with scholarships and for people whose parents are extraordinarily wealthy. That's who the first 2 years.
Now, why do you say that?
Because you can go to community college,
right,
and get the same thing.
Okay, so you're getting your core classes,
right? So the idea that you rush off to Harvard or Dartmouth or Princeton, or you pick the university, doesn't really matter, and you pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year for that education, right?
History,
that you could have gotten at the community college level
for like $6,000.
Right. I don't know what they pay now for community college. It's probably gone up too because the market makers are driving the price up, and the market will charge what the market can bear, and people are paying a lot for community college now too. But either way, it's significantly lower than some 4-year university where, honestly, you don't need that big university degree until you're going for your master's or your doctorate anyway, and then no one cares where you went for undergrad if you have your master's.
Yep, then you could transfer anywhere.
Right. So...
And the other thing that drives the price of college is the fact that the federal government guarantees X amount of dollars of student loan money. Mm-hmm. Ron Paul did a really good video on this a few years ago where he showed these charts that were basically, here's the Department of Education, blah, 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 guaranteeing X amount of dollars. And basically the cost of college went up a little bit more every time than the actual increased guaranteed rate that the government was increasing on this chart. I'm sure if you Google Ron Paul on education or university cost, you'll find it on YouTube. It's a pretty good explanation.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. The government does guarantee people's funding for education, and when they guarantee it, then the banks don't have anything to worry about because they're going to get paid one way or the other. Then they sell off this debt to collection agencies and that sort of thing. It's this spiral, and young people are often brought in by Bernie's passion and his plans, but his plans are really, really expensive. And a lot of people ask, well, how can other countries do it? Well, A, I don't know, but B, the United States has a much more well-funded military than these other countries do. They're not even meeting their NATO obligations.
But everything's being inflated in this country through this artificial injection of money into all the marketplaces, whether it's housing, whether it's even automobiles and education, and of course healthcare. Everything is being artificially inflated.
It's true. They're messing with the
markets,
the value of money, and it's to the detriment of us down here at the bottom, not those at the top. I can assure you. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE on Free Talk Live.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We've been talking about, I don't know, what's the overarching theme of the show? Government spending?
Parasite waste.
Yeah.
When you hire a parasite to do something, whatever it is going to consume a lot of energy. For anybody who understands biology knows that parasites are very bad for the host. Whether it's a tapeworm, it's going to consume a lot of the, energy that you need. It's going to make you tired. It's going to bog you down. Well, government is essentially does the same thing to the markets as far as I'm concerned. They do the same thing to our economies, just our day-to-day lives. They're parasites that essentially take our essence in the form of, finance.
And I would say that the government's inserted itself in sort of many necessary areas. So, they're not completely inserted in healthcare, which we were just talking about. So let's go with something that they're pretty well inserted in: garbage collection.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and garbage collection, mind you, is one of the things the government does pretty well.
How does all this garbage get in the ocean?
Well, honestly, the answer to that is largely from third world countries on the Pacific Rim.
So the rules are, the nautical rules on a fishing vessel, it says it right there. I used to go out in a commercial fishing boat a couple times a year with a friend of mine.
Yep.
You can dump a certain amount of waste 125 miles out to sea. You can dump pretty much unregulated, plastic and all kinds of stuff 250 miles out to sea.
Yeah, I don't know.
As much as you want?
Well, this is what major cities do. They bring barges out and they dump waste.
I don't think so. So the rules may have changed since you were out there, but you can throw like crockery and certain kinds of garbage that'll sink out. That'll presumably it'll help create reef or something like that. But plastics and those kind of things you're not allowed to do anymore. You can dump human waste
250 miles out. I mean, this could be old information.
I think
on
it's
a boat,
old information.
But basically, if it was hammer milled to 1 inch, it was like the 125 to 250 mile. Because was or still is. I could do a little research on this, update myself. But major cities like New York City,
no,
they don't dump trash out on barges.
Most of that the Pacific garbage patch is from countries that aren't the U.S.
Oh, you mean so countries that we've been shipping our trash too, and then they're dumping it in the ocean.
That may very well be the case. I don't know, but I can't give you an answer on that one. But
clearly, there's tons of Walmart bags 100 miles off the coast of Chatham, Massachusetts, 100 miles southeast. You drop nets and let them soak for a week in the wintertime, and those nets are half full of Walmart cellophane bags. You could read Walmart right on them. I've picked them out of the nets.
That's curious. That's not what I've read, but I'm certainly willing to have a conversation about that. I wasn't talking about the end result of garbage.
I'll get you some pictures.
I was talking about trash pickup.
Right. Okay. Yep.
Okay. So trash pickup. Well, I'm sure there's pictures of people pulling up Walmart bags. I mean, I dropped a plastic bag off my boat while I was out for 3 months. And sometimes things blow off. I felt terrible, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
The boat's traveling along under sail at 6.5 knots, and goodbye, Mr. Plastic Bag, because there's nothing you can do. You should have had something sitting on it. It's a shame, but that's the way it is. Shouldn't have those kind of things out in the...
plastic bags had holes punched through them. They were hammer milled, and they were about 1,800 foot down, and literally were gill nets. There's these couple 1,000 foot long, 10 foot high, floats on one side, lead weights on the other. They catch a bunch of bottom feeders, and literally half of the haul was trash. These bags.
What do they do with that trash when they pull it out?
Oh, well, we
threw it back.
No. We filled up a bunch of containers with it. The guy actually had kind of a trash compactor-ish system where you compacted it with your foot into these bags. And they were pretty strong bags. And when we would go back to the dock, we would just throw them in a dumpster at the Chatham Pier.
So when you're talking
a lot
about
of work.
Trash pickup, I was able to see this very clearly moving from Sarasota, Florida to Keene, New Hampshire. Now, all y'all here know for sure that trash is not picked up by garbage men here in this area unless you call them.
Yep.
You can call somebody out to your house.
Them.
Yeah, they'll come out and they will pick up your garbage for pay. And
I got it done for $60 a month. I get a 5-yard dumpster, and I pay for it in full. So it's one money, and that's why I get it for the $60 a month, because I pay for it in full. It'd be like $80 if you did it monthly, and I think that's pretty good service.
Yeah, that's $60 a month isn't bad, but you probably are getting it for trash pickup at your house in Sarasota, Florida, for less than $60. But Ian has trash pickup here because he doesn't want to go to the dump. I go to the transfer station, is what we call it, the dump, basically, and I drop my own trash off, and I don't pay anything for it other than property taxes to keep the transfer station open. But I have no trash pickup because I have an 11-year-old. and he is my trash man. He takes care of this stuff, and then I drive him there, and he throws it all away, and he gets a little bit of money. So I guess I probably do spend, because I give him, I'm pretty generous. I'm giving him pretty good money for doing it, because I want to make sure that he's, wants to do it and wants to understand chores and these sorts of things. But he, he's the one who does it at my house. Ian pays $20 a month, which is what I was paying in Sarasota for trash pickup. It was like $22 a month in Sarasota. The difference was in here, he throws whatever he wants into that barrel, and they take care of it for him. There in Sarasota, they made sure that I didn't have a single stick wrapped up in my yard trash that was longer than 3 feet long. If so, they'd just leave it. No explanation as to why it was being left, just left.
City of Manchester does the same thing.
Sometimes your recycling would be left, and you wouldn't know what the reason was for that either. And there's no instructions there. You don't know what the reason is. It just gets bizarre. Fine. You don't want to pick up my recycling? I'll dump it in a garbage bag, and you'll pick it up tomorrow with regular trash pickup.
Perfect.
And this is sort of, for me, was, a real clarity on what the government does when it does things. It provides, this is what a monopoly is. Because try to get other trash. You can get other trash service, but you're going to still pay. If you get trash pickup in your area and you have to pay for it, you're still going to have to pay for the trash service that you don't use. Somebody will come to your house for money and pick up your trash.
Oh, kind of like sending your kid to private school?
Right. It's like private school. And, public school, depending on where you are in the country, you can be paying between $6,000 and $10,000 a year per student for, government school. And there's plenty of private schools in America right now that can use that kind of money And now, mind you, a charter school, if you decide to send your kid to a charter school, the government only gives them a fraction of that.
We did that. There was a lot of fundraisers at the charter school.
Right. So they get a certain amount from the government per student, but it's much smaller than what the government school gets. So the government school, you know, there's better, there's worse ones, there's no doubt. But ultimately, you know, you can't compare the charter schools to the government schools, even though the charter schools are generally better. Because the charter schools have to, basically, they live in a netherworld, half private, half public, and they're trying to do fundraising and that kind of thing. Private schools, yeah, many of them are functioning for less per student than the government schools are. And still, we're like, you know, the government schools are still the worst school in a given area. The government provides the worst service at the highest price, and it seems like every single time.
But the employees in the government schools' pensions are guaranteed by the barrel of a gun. When their pension fund loses 20-30% because everything goes to crap, taxpayers have to make up for it. At the private school, if there is a pension, which I assume you would have to have if you had a private school to get educators to teach in your private school. I'm sure they got some kind of thing like other private companies.
Probably a 401k.
Or whatever. But, you know, if that goes down, there's no one pointing guns at taxpayers to prop it up to make sure you still get it.
If the charter school doesn't work out, whatever retirement they have for those teachers, you don't necessarily have to pay for it. And that's the difference between something that's in the marketplace and something that's in the done by the government. The government, you're forced to pay for it, even if it's the worst service offered.
Yeah, there's no incentive to provide a good service if you're forced to pay for it.
And that's my dispute fundamentally with all government programs is, you know, I'm not saying the government doesn't provide programs we need, but we certainly don't need them at the price and the service level they're giving them to us at. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Hey, is that a new music app?
Yeah, check it out. Surfer Music Discovery. It links to thousands of online stations, but the twist is you see the song names and artists that are now playing live.
That's different. No guessing. Looks like a waterfall of music.
So many formats. Rock, oldies, country, R&B, jazz, and a whole lot more.
How's that spelled?
Surfer. S-U-R-F-R.
Is it expensive?
It's free. No need to sign up or sign in.
Get the Surfer Music app free from Google Play or the App Store.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you AMP Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live, final segment. The number's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. It's Mark with you.
Jay?
And Angie.
If you operate a retail business and you're looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance, it's never been easier thanks to helpmetakebitcoin.com. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. It's not like taking, VeriSign or any of that stuff. It's so easy. If you've already got a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Visit helpmetakebitcoin.com and follow the simple steps. Within moments, you'll be accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store and Bitcoin Cash. Get started now at helpmetakebitcoin.com. It's helpmetakebitcoin.com. I think this is important to read. We were talking about government programs and the cost for them and things like that. Here's one that it makes perfectly good sense, but it's going to be really expensive. From NBCnews.com, court rules Veterans Administration must pay for veterans' emergency room care, a decision that may be worth billions.
Yeah, because these hospitals want your emergency room business. If you travel down Interstate 93 from Concord to Manchester, you will see a massive sign that says some hospital down the road and the exit whatever, and the emergency room wait time is 0 minutes, 8 minutes,
2
3
minutes.
minutes, whatever. It's always you see some couple minutes.
I've seen plenty of signs like that for different hospitals, not just that one.
I've
seen
all kinds of hospitals. I see them everywhere in New Hampshire.
And it's not just New Hampshire, it's Florida too.
Oh, okay.
The Department of Veterans Affairs must reimburse veterans for emergency medical care at non-VA facilities, a federal appeals court ruled Monday. This is from September 10th, so that's yesterday.
Oh,
so,
if you like the VA healthcare, you're going to love government healthcare once it all becomes, because it's all going to be VA healthcare.
It is government, yeah. A decision that could be worth billions of dollars to veterans. The U.S. Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims said that the VA has been wrongfully denying reimbursement to veterans who sought emergency medical care at non-VA facilities and struck down an internal VA regulation that blocked those payments. All of this is unacceptable, said the ruling, which ordered the VA secretary to re-adjudicate these reimbursement claims. Plaintiffs' lawyers say that based on past estimates by the VA, the department is now on the hook for between $1.8 billion and $6.5 billion in reimbursements to hundreds of thousands of veterans who have filed or will file claims between 2016 and 2025. So, I love that they don't know. So you don't know how much this is. 1.8 to 6.5. Between $2
difference.
and $7 billion. Now, and what you need to consider is that many veterans don't like the service they get at the VA.
No, it's horrible.
Much rather go to the hospital down the road or whatever.
So I wonder how many will now say, Well, I had to go to the emergency room to get my service rather than the VA.
I had a sniffle.
Yep.
Well, if
So I
you're a
went to the
certain amount
ER.
of miles away anyway, they'll give you a referral to
Yes.
a different doctor.
Yep, they will. But you have to get the referral and all that
Takes a
work
little bit,
and all
yep.
that sort of thing. And if your emergency room visits are now covered by the VA, at what point will just all your hospital visits be covered?
Yeah.
And all these questions really sort of add up to, A, people don't want government health care, because that's what the VA is.
Yep.
Forget it, ladies and gentlemen. There's no way to get around it. You've got government health care, and we know what it looks like. It's the VA.
So will the local emergency room here in Keene, say a vet goes there because whatever, he's got some chest pains, do they pay the cash rate, the VA, or do they pay the insurance rate? I'm sure it's the highest rate possible.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
I don't know if they're billing the patient, which would be the veteran, and the veteran gets the bill and then they submit it. They would get like a cash bill, right?
Maybe.
Because it would be in their name.
Well, I can tell you that I did go to the local, you were just talking about the local hospital. When my wife was pregnant, we went there and they wanted our information because, we'd went for the first visit and stuff. And they asked for our insurance information. I said, we don't have, our insurance won't pay for this. So this is all going to be cash. But do you have insurance? Yes. But it won't pay for this. Well, let us get the information anyway.
That's where you went wrong, saying you had insurance that you can't even use.
Right. So I answered the question, yes, and I gave them the insurance information in case it was. They said it was in case it was for something else. If we
Right.
get rolled in or whatever. They then billed us the insurance rate.
Yep.
And when we told them we were going to pay cash, so we no longer got the cash rate. And we had one heck of a time getting them to roll it back to the cash rate. And these people don't know what their services cost. So there was a test that she had to have that every woman, she was 40 years old when
And all these
she had
doctors do this.
Yep.
And hospitals. Oh,
So-
we don't know what that lab costs. Well, you guys send them out every week. How the hell could you not know?
They had her take a test to see whether or not she had to take a test, right?
Yeah.
And so the test turned out that she needed to take the test. Well, the test, not the test for the test for the test cost more than the test. 3 times more than the test. If we would have just taken the test, we would have paid a quarter of what they charged us.
That's really it's a definition of a racket.
And
that is racketeering.
Right. And so, this is their billing problems. This is, a service provider that doesn't even understand the rates for anything. I've got a friend who works as a doctor at the local hospital, the same hospital I'm complaining about here. He's like, he readily admits he has no clue what they're going to charge me for anything. Nothing. He's like, I just don't know.
Yeah, if you call and you try to make an appointment and you ask how much your visit's going to be and you say, this is what I'm going to have done, they're going to say, you'll have to call billing.
They don't know either.
Yeah.
So
nobody knows but billing, and billing doesn't know either.
No.
So imagine this. All your data for the past decade is getting stored somewhere.
Mhm.
And there's AI bots that a used car dealership, a hospital, an auctioneering house basically put to work to see how much you can afford. How much will this guy afford on a car? How many clicks was he clicking on cars that were over $20,000? How much is this guy got in his bank account? How much, this does he have? What's his assets worth? How much is his health care? How much can we extract at him for health care? I mean, lawyers are doing this to see how much they can get for certain things. And
I'm
it's
throwing off
crazy.
their algorithms because I look at an inordinate amount of Lotuses and McLarens and Lamborghinis.
Right.
Because I like the way they look, not because I'm ever going to buy one or ever could buy one.
But just think about it. If all our data's out there, and if there was, there's AIs being developed, or they already exist, or Facebook. I mean, Facebook is selling me stuff literally that I'm like, wow, that's an awesome tool. I've been needing that. I have bought some awesome tools due to online advertising that have actually made my life easier in my trade, because I'm looking at all these tools and watching videos about welding and blacksmithing and all, and I get advertised these things. But it's a seriously dangerous sword. I mean, when it comes to healthcare and certain situations, they know based on our data we've been putting out there who they can stick it to and who they can't. They got to.
Right. I'm sure that's the case. They can figure it out in every other industry. Why couldn't they figure it out in healthcare?
Right.
And Yeah, it's the truth. By the way, on that test that cost 3 times the test for the test that cost 3 times as much as the test, we didn't pay it. We just refused to pay that. We paid all the other bills, and we said,
except for that test,
y'all can take that and stick it where the proctologist works, right? And we just didn't pay it. And no one, I think you're right. They turned it over to one guy at one collection agency one time that called, and I read him up one side and down the other, and they never called back. I didn't tell him he couldn't call me back. I didn't tell him he couldn't try to collect. I didn't tell him anything like that. They never called me back. I suspect because they realized I'm never giving them a penny. These incompetent boobs, and they're, trying to pay me, trying to charge me for this bill.
I was in a semi-wreck, and I took an ambulance ride. It was $12,000 for the ambulance and ER visit, and put a couple stitches in my head, a couple stitches in my shoulder, and they wanted like $12,000. And I'm like, well, what are you guys going to do if I don't pay it? I ain't got no assets. I'll just let my credit rot. First phone call, I had these guys down at $3,200.
Yeah, right. They were ready to cut rate pretty quick. And that's what they'll do. You should talk to the hospital billing and begin negotiating as quickly as you can. Because
and just let them know you're a deadbeat and you're probably not going to pay. And they just, $3,200 was better than any creditor will give them.
I was willing to...
Or any credit buying company.
Right, the credit buying company. I was willing to pay what I felt was a fair amount, and we did talk them down on the amount because I felt like I got ripped off on the cash thing, and I felt like I got ripped off on too many tests. So I talked them down to a fair amount. They let the bill go, and ultimately that was that. I refused to pay for the one test as I had said because I felt that was wrong, and they didn't. So, we just had a dispute on that, but it really never affected our credit from what I could tell. We didn't buy much on credit for that period of time, but I bought a car a few years ago and everything was fine. Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced 6-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,487, silver at $18.04, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,114. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, President Donald Trump on Tuesday abruptly forced out John Bolton, his hawkish national security advisor, with whom he had strong disagreements on Iran, Afghanistan, and a cascade of other global challenges. The sudden shakeup marked the latest departure of a prominent voice of dissent from the president's inner circle, as Trump has grown less accepting of advice contrary to his instincts. It also comes at a trying moment for Trump on the world stage, weeks ahead of the United Nations General Assembly, and as the president faces pressing decisions on difficult foreign policy issues. Tensions between Bolton, Trump's third national security advisor, and other officials have flared in recent months over influence in the president's orbit and how to manage his desire to negotiate with some of the world's most unsavory actors. Since joining the administration in the spring of last year, Bolton has espoused skepticism about the president's approach to North Korea and has recently become a vocal internal critic on potential talks between Trump and leaders of Iran and Afghanistan's Taliban. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Maxil Perea dos Santos, a Brazilian government official who has been working with indigenous people to preserve the Amazon rainforest for over a decade, was shot and killed in front of his family in an apparent assassination on Friday.